My name is Marcus, and I am 42 years old, born and raised right here in Texas. My whole life has been lived under these wide-open skies, the kind where you can see forever, and I've spent more than half of it coaching high school football. To some, it's just a game, but to me, it's the heartbeat of our small town, the place where boys learn to be men, where dreams are born in the dust and sweat of the practice field. Every morning, I'd wake up before the sun, the smell of coffee and a faint scent of old leather from my coaching bag filling my little house. I'd drive my beat-up truck to the school, the same school I played for, and walk onto that field, feeling the familiar crunch of the dry grass beneath my worn boots. My dream wasn't just about winning games, although we loved to win. My dream was about helping these kids, these young men with fire in their eyes and hope in their hearts, to see a future beyond our town's fading horizons. Some of them had natural talent, a raw ability that could take them to college, maybe even further if only they got the chance. Others just needed a place to belong, a team to lean on, a purpose. I poured every ounce of myself into them, teaching them not just plays, but discipline, resilience, and what it means to truly be a part of something bigger than yourself. But beneath the Friday night lights and the cheers of the crowd, there was a quiet struggle, a heavy weight that seemed to grow with each passing season. Our town was shrinking. Jobs were scarce, and families were moving away, taking their bright young kids with them. The school budget got tighter every year, squeezing our football program more and more. Our helmets were old, our shoulder pads patched and repatched, our uniforms faded and fraying at the edges. My office, once filled with new playbooks, now held stacks of grant applications I barely understood and outdated equipment catalogs I couldn't afford. The biggest challenge wasn't on the field. It was trying to keep this program alive, trying to keep hope alive for these kids when the world outside our stadium walls seemed determined to chip away at it. I could feel the doubt creeping in, an internal nemesis whispering in my ear late at night. Am I good enough? Can I really do this? Am I failing them? The fear of not being able to provide for my team, of seeing their dreams crumble because of a lack of funds, that was the hardest part. It felt like I was fighting a battle I was destined to lose all by myself. I threw myself into trying to fix things. I started organizing fundraisers, reaching out to every local business, big or small, begging for any help they could offer. We held car washes where the boys scrubbed cars until their arms ached, and bake sales where the mothers, bless their hearts, brought pies that tasted like pure sunshine. I spent my evenings, long after practice, writing emails, making phone calls, trying to secure donations. I even dipped into my own meager savings a few times, buying a new set of practice cones or a fresh batch of bandages, telling myself it was an investment in the boys. I patched up uniforms with my own two hands, learning to sew ragged tears, trying to make them last just one more season. I showed the team how to maintain their helmets, how to clean and care for the equipment we had, instilling in them a sense of responsibility and gratitude for every single thing we possessed. I preached resilience on the field, telling them that true strength wasn't about having the fanciest gear, but about the heart you brought to the game, about getting up when you're knocked down and fighting for every yard. But the setbacks kept coming, like tackles from a phantom opponent. Our fundraising events never quite hit the targets we needed. A big local hardware store, a long-time supporter, had to cut back their donation because their own business was struggling. Then, the old bus we used for away games broke down for good, a cloud of black smoke billowing from its engine, leaving us stranded and without a reliable way to travel. The school district, seeing our mounting difficulties, started talking about cutting the football program entirely if things didn't turn around quickly. They said it wasn't sustainable. My heart ached every time I heard those words. How could I look my players in the eye, especially the seniors who were counting on football scholarships to get to college, and tell them their dreams were being canceled? My lowest point came after a particularly tough meeting with the superintendent. I had been working for months on a grant application, a huge one for a national sports foundation. I poured my soul into it, detailing every single one of our needs, every single one of my boys' hopes. I truly believed this was our answer, our big break. The superintendent had even seemed cautiously optimistic. But then the letter came. A short, polite rejection. Our program, while noble, didn't quite fit their current funding priorities. The words blurred on the page, but their meaning was crystal clear. We were out of options. The superintendent then delivered the final blow. The football program would be drastically cut next season, reduced to a junior varsity team with no travel budget, meaning no chance for college scouts to see our players. Any existing scholarships were now in serious jeopardy. I felt a cold dread spread through me, colder than any Texas winter. I sat in my office that night, the fluorescent lights humming above me, the trophies on the dusty shelf mocking me with their past glory. I had failed. I had let everyone down. The weight of the world wasn't just on my shoulders, it was crushing me. I felt utterly alone, defeated, like I had nothing left to give. I thought about quitting, about walking away from the game I loved, from the kids I cared for so deeply, because what was the point if I couldn't protect their futures? The silence in the empty school was deafening, echoing all my fears and doubts. The final game of the season arrived, a bitter pill to swallow. We were playing our rivals, the Falcons, from a wealthier district about 2 hours away. For my seniors, this was their last chance to shine, to possibly catch the eye of a college scout who might still be in the stands, even after all our struggles. The air was thick with a strange mix of sadness and desperate hope. We were already down, not just in score, but in spirit. Then, just an hour before kickoff, disaster struck again. The Falcons' team bus, packed with their players and coaches, broke down about 30 minutes outside of town. A mechanical failure, their coach called to explain, saying they had no idea when a replacement bus would arrive. Their kids were stuck on the side of the road in the heat, no water, no food, getting more disheartened by the minute. Our kids, already feeling the sting of defeat and the looming end of their season, looked at me, waiting for my reaction. I could have just shrugged, told their coach it was their problem, focused on what little time we had left to prepare our own team. It was the easy choice, the one that made sense from a purely competitive standpoint. But as I looked at my boys, their tired but hopeful faces, something inside me shifted. All the struggles, all the setbacks, all the despair I'd felt, it had taught me something. It had taught me that there was more to life than just winning, more to coaching than just excess and O's. I looked at my team and I saw not just football players, but human beings, children of this community. And those kids on the side of the road, even if they were our rivals, they were human beings too, kids who loved this game just as much as ours did. Boys, I said, my voice cutting through the locker room's quiet hum, listen up. That Falcons bus is broken down. They're stranded. Hot, hungry, and probably feeling pretty rotten right now. We may be rivals on the field, but we're all part of this football family. We're going to help them. I saw some confused glances, some raised eyebrows. We didn't have much ourselves. Our water cooler was half empty. Our snack bin held only a few granola bars and some bruised oranges. But I told them we were going to share what we had. We gathered up every single water bottle, every snack, every spare towel. We even offered them the use of our locker room to cool down when they finally made it to the stadium on a borrowed school bus from a neighboring town, arriving just 15 minutes before game time. My team, despite their own worries, did it without a single complaint. They greeted the weary Falcons with smiles, handed out water, shared their protein bars, and offered words of encouragement. The Falcons' coach, a gruff old-timer named Coach Miller, looked at me with wide, disbelieving eyes. "Marcus," he said, shaking his head, "I've never seen anything like it. Thank you. Thank you for showing these kids what true sportsmanship looks like." We played that game and we lost by a pretty wide margin as expected, but something truly remarkable happened. The mood on the field, despite the score, was different. There was a genuine respect, a camaraderie that transcended the rivalry. Both teams played hard, but with an underlying current of shared humanity. What I didn't know was that a sports reporter from a major newspaper, who was visiting his old high school and happened to be at the game, witnessed the entire thing. He wrote an article not about the game's score, but about the unexpected kindness, the resilience of a struggling team and its coach who chose compassion over competition. The story went viral. Suddenly, our little struggling program wasn't just a story of loss, but a beacon of hope. Donations started pouring in from all over Texas, and even from other states. Not just money, but brand new equipment, shiny helmets, pads that smelled of fresh leather, new uniforms that gleamed under the stadium lights. Local businesses, inspired by the positive attention, stepped up their support. Coach Miller from the Falcons became a good friend and an unexpected ally, offering to host joint practices and even helping us secure some grants he knew about. Our football program was not just saved, it was thriving. We started an outreach program using our new resources to mentor younger kids in the community, teaching them about sportsmanship and perseverance. We helped other struggling sports teams in our district, paying forward the kindness that had been shown to us. My players learned that day that true strength wasn't just about winning games, but about building each other up, about seeing the humanity in everyone, even your opponent. They learned that a single act of kindness, even when you have nothing to give, can spark a ripple effect that changes everything. Years have passed since that game. Our team is consistently strong now, not just on the scoreboard, but in the character of our players. Many of my boys have gone on to college, some on scholarships they earned not just through their athletic talent, but through the lessons of compassion they learned on that very field. and the most poignant twist of fate. Just last year, I received a call from one of my former players, a young man named David who had been a senior on that team, the one where we shared our snacks with the Falcons. He had gone on to become a successful businessman, having graduated from a top university. He told me he never forgot that day, that moment when I told the team to help our rivals, even when we had nothing. He said it shaped his entire life, teaching him the importance of generosity and treating people right. He ended the call by telling me he wanted to establish a permanent scholarship fund in my name, a fund that would ensure no student-athlete from our small town would ever lose their chance at a college education due to lack of resources. The fund would also help other struggling school sports programs across the region. He called it the Coach Marcus Resiliency Fund. It was a moment that brought tears to my eyes, tears of gratitude and overwhelming joy. That delayed bus, which had seemed like just another hurdle, another stroke of bad luck, had actually been the beginning of everything good. It proved to me, and to our entire town, that sometimes in our darkest moments, the smallest act of kindness can illuminate the path to a brighter future, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. Things truly do get better, especially when we choose to lift each other up.